Hello, everyone. This is Wrestling Watcher, a YouTube channel that is about watching professional wrestling. So, one of the great debates, and there's a lot of great debates in pro wrestling, but one of the great debates, obviously, is the Bret Hart versus Shawn Michaels debate. The who was better, right? And, I think it was Kevin Nash that once compared it like this. He said Shawn Michaels was like Frank Sinatra, and that Bret Hart was like Dean Martin. And there was nothing wrong with being Dean Martin, but there was only one Frank, right? And this debate seems to be coming up periodically from time to time when there's, some wrestling shoots out there. And I'll be honest, I think Bret Hart kind of gets I don't know if bad rap, but kind of gets misrepresented in this debate a little bit. One of the things that's said is that he didn't have a very good promo. Well, my argument to that was, obviously, we're talking about the late 80s, mid 80s to, the 90s, right? His promo matched his character, in my opinion. I'll give you an example. Look at The Undertaker when he first came up. That first 5, 6, 7 year period with The Undertaker, but especially look at 91, 92, 93. His character was about taking the souls of his opponents, right? And burying them. And he would talk about embalming. And his voice was really, really low. Now, no one ever says, boy, what a great promo that was. I don't necessarily think people really call it a bad promo either. His promo matched his character, right? He was a Western mortician with superpowers that collected the souls of his opponents. Well, what's the point of this? Well, Bret Hart was meant to be a perfect wrestling technician. That was his character. His character was, I'm going to get in the ring and defeat you because I'm the superior technician. The Hitman. His character was not designed to be over the top, charismatic, out there. It was meant to be a very basic, down-to-earth character. He was a hitman, technician. Now, let's compare that to Shawn Michaels. His character was meant to be extremely charismatic. He was meant to be this over-the-top character. He's basically, if you think about the original Shawn Michaels, sexy boy, heartbreaker character, he's basically, for all intents and purposes, a male stripper. Like, that's the character. And so his character was meant to be more over the top. His promo was meant to be that for him, for that character. Which, in the modern 2026 wrestling verse, means that he automatically has the better promo. But if your promo matches the character, I'll go back to The Undertaker. I don't want Undertaker cutting a Shawn Michaels character promo because that's not his character. Each character has to sound like what their promo needs to sound like what their character is. Now, if we go to in-ring, that's a different... Look, Shawn Michaels is always going to be at the top. But here's my question to you guys. Legit question. Alright? Shawn Michaels retires after the 1998 WrestleMania. That WrestleMania 14, I believe it was in Boston, against Austin. Shawn Michaels to 98, that point, versus Bret Hart's career where it naturally ended. How much better are you honestly saying Shawn Michaels was than Bret? Because to me, if you take just the first part of Shawn Michaels' career and put it up against Bret, man, Bret's got a lot of great matches there that really support his claim. Now, look, if we take Shawn Michaels coming back in 2002, that second half run, 2002 to 2010, well, he's got those 2 matches with Undertaker. He's got a series of matches with Triple H. He obviously has a couple great matches with John Cena. The list goes on. There's that classic match on Raw in 2005. I believe it was against Shelton Benjamin, which I believe was named, if not the greatest, one of the greatest matches in Raw history. You could look at Shawn Michaels' feud with Chris Jericho. Both of them, because honestly there was a one in 2003 where they had that great match at 19. And then obviously the 2008 feud where Jericho came back as a heel. So look, Shawn takes the cake as far as greater in-ring performer, because he has that second half to really punch home that fact. But but as I said, if you take his career where it ended in 98 and put it up against Bret's, that's neck and neck to me. Because when you look at Bret, you got a series of matches there from 91 all the way into 93 that are just prime top match of the year candidates. Now look, Shawn is Shawn. His athleticism in the ring is unmatched, right? I mean, you look at 96 when he had the title run. Yes, ratings went down and the WCW started crushing them, right? Especially after the NWO. But you could argue Shawn Michaels' in-ring performances was what was keeping the company afloat. Now look, when Bret came back though in 96 against Austin and had that run with him through 97, he had a lot of great matches then too. So it's really difficult. And another thing to consider is they're two different styles, right? Shawn is a lot more high-flying, charismatic. Bret is that methodical sort of old-school pace, right? It's like saying what's better, vanilla ice cream or chocolate ice cream. So I can't really say that one is better than the other because they're both great in their own right. I mean, you give Shawn the advantage there because I think of the second run, but I think if you stop at the first run, I can't honestly say he was way better than Bret. I mean, if you want to catalog Bret's matches, I mean, that SummerSlam match against Perfect, the King of the Ring match against Perfect. You know, look at the Survivor Series 1992, Shawn versus Bret. The Survivor Series match that I think I made a video early on in this channel where I said it doesn't get talked about enough. That was a classic. That just doesn't, it gets forgotten in the ether, but you want a great title match, go back and watch 1992 Survivor Series with Bret versus Shawn. You look at Bret, don't forget Wembley 92 either. You know, main eventing with the Intercontinental Championship in front of what was at the time, what the largest WWE audience at the time, so WWF at the time. So when we have this debate, Bret deserves way more respect than what he's been given. I mean, I can be objective and tell you that Shawn's run from 2002 to 2010 puts his career greater than Bret's, but if you stop it at 98 and do an objective comparison from Shawn to 98 to what Bret had, I can't say that Shawn was so much better than Bret, respectively. That's all for this one, guys. Thank you.